The studio lights blazed down on the set of The View, where the co-hosts were seated in their familiar semicircle, chatting animatedly as the audience applause died down. Whoopi Goldberg kicked off the segment with her signature warmth, introducing the day's guest, Scarlett Johansson, who strode onto the stage with that effortless Hollywood grace, her blonde hair catching the lights, dressed in a chic black pantsuit that screamed confidence. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Scarlett waved, smiling broadly as she took her seat next to Joy Behar, the veteran host known for her sharp-tonguing no-holds-barred opinions. The conversation started light, with questions about Scarlett's latest film project, a sci-fi thriller that had everyone buzzing. She delved into the challenges of playing a complex character, sharing anecdotes from the set that had the panel laughing. Sunny Hostin chimed in with praise for Scarlett's advocacy work, particularly her stance on women's rights, which Scarlett elaborated on passionately, emphasizing the importance of using her platform to amplify voices that are often silenced. Alyssa Farah Griffin nodded along, adding her own insights from her political background, creating a harmonious flow. But as the talk shifted to more personal territory, Joy Behar leaned in, her eyes narrowing slightly, ready to steer the discussion into choppier waters. She brought up Scarlett's recent comments in an interview about the entertainment industry's treatment of aging actresses, questioning if Scarlett felt pressured to maintain a certain image. Scarlett responded thoughtfully, acknowledging the double standards but insisting that her focus was on roles that challenged her, not on superficial expectations. The audience murmured in agreement, but Joy pressed further, suggesting that Scarlett's choices in film sometimes pandered to male gazes, citing specific scenes from her past work. Scarlett's smile tightened just a fraction, but she held her composure, countering that art often reflects society's flaws and that reducing her performances to that was reductive. The exchange was polite yet pointed, setting a subtle tension in the air as commercials loomed. Back from break, the discussion heated up when Joy pivoted to politics, asking Scarlett about her endorsements and views on current events, particularly women's reproductive rights, where Scarlett had been vocal. Joy, ever the provocateur, challenged Scarlett on whether celebrities like her truly understood the struggles of everyday women, implying that her privileged life distanced her from real issues. Scarlett leaned forward, her voice steady but firm, defending her activism by recounting personal stories and the work she'd done with organizations. The other hosts tried to interject, but Joy doubled down, her tone sharpening as she accused Scarlett of performative allyship. The audience gasped softly, sensing the shift, and Scarlett's eyes flashed with irritation, but she responded with poise, explaining that criticism like that only divides people fighting for the same cause. As the segment progressed, the clash intensified, with Joy interrupting Scarlett mid-sentence, leading to overlapping voices and a palpable discomfort on set. Whoopi attempted to mediate, but the damage was underway, the once friendly chat turning into a battle of words that had viewers at home glued to their screens, wondering if this was the eruption the rumors had hinted at. Scarlett's composure began to crack as Joy Behar relentlessly pursued her line of questioning, delving into Scarlett's personal life with a tenacity that bordered on invasive. Joy brought up Scarlett's past relationships, subtly implying that her high-profile romances influenced her public persona more than her talent, which drew audible boos from the audience. Scarlett, visibly taken aback, paused for a moment, her hands clasping tightly in her lap, before retorting that such comments were not only irrelevant but also perpetuated the very sexism they were supposedly discussing. The panel fell into a brief silence, broken by Sarah Haynes trying to lighten the mood with a joke, but it fell flat as the tension thickened. Joy, undeterred, fired back, claiming she was just being honest and that celebrities needed to be held accountable like everyone else. Scarlett's face flushed, her voice rising slightly as she accused Joy of twisting her words to create drama for the show. The exchange escalated quickly, with both women talking over each other, their gestures becoming more animated, Scarlett pointing emphatically, Joy waving her hands dismissively. Whoopi Goldberg interjected again, calling for calm, but the momentum was unstoppable. Alyssa tried to redirect to Scarlett's upcoming projects, but Joy circled back, questioning Scarlett's authenticity in her environmental advocacy, suggesting it was a trendy bandwagon rather than genuine commitment. Scarlett laughed incredulously, shaking her head, and countered with facts about her involvement in climate initiatives, her tone laced with frustration. The audience was divided, some cheering Scarlett on, others murmuring in support of Joy's boldness. As the argument intensified, Scarlett stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor, declaring that she wouldn't sit there and be disrespected. Joy smirked, challenging her to stay and debate like an adult, which only fueled Scarlett's anger. She paced a step or two, her voice booming now, as she unleashed a tirade about how shows like this thrive on conflict rather than meaningful dialogue. How Joy's interruptions were emblematic of broader issues in media. The cameras captured every moment, zooming in on Scarlett's expressive face, her eyes blazing with passion. The other hosts looked stunned, Sunny attempting to de-escalate by agreeing with parts of both sides, but Scarlett wasn't having it. She pointed directly at Joy, accusing her of personal attacks masked as journalism, her words sharp and unfiltered. The studio erupted in a mix of gasps and applause, the energy electric as the confrontation reached its peak. Producers offstage signaled frantically, but the live broadcast continued, immortalizing the clash. Scarlett's eruption was raw, unscripted, a moment of vulnerability from a star usually so poised. She spoke of the toll such scrutiny takes on mental health, her voice cracking slightly, humanizing her in ways interviews rarely do. Joy, for her part, held her ground, defending her right to ask tough questions, but the balance had shifted, with Scarlett commanding the narrative. As the segment careened toward chaos, Whoopi called for a commercial break, her voice authoritative, cutting through the din. Emerging from the commercial break, the atmosphere on The View was charged, with Scarlett Johansson still standing, her posture defiant as she faced Joy Behar across the table. The audience's murmurs filled the air, a soundtrack to the unfolding drama. Whoopi Goldberg, ever the moderator, urged everyone to take a breath and refocus, but Scarlett wasn't ready to let go. She launched into a passionate monologue, her voice steady but intense, detailing how Joy's comments echoed the misogynistic narratives that women in Hollywood face daily, being reduced to their looks, relationships, or perceived hypocrisies rather than their achievements. Joy interrupted, her New York accent cutting sharp, insisting she was an ally to women and that tough love was necessary. This only ignited Scarlett further. She raised her voice, declaring that true allyship doesn't involve tearing down others for ratings. The other co-hosts watched in a mix of shock and fascination as Sunny Hostin nodding in partial agreement with Scarlett, while Alyssa Farah Griffin tried to bridge the gap by sharing her own experiences with media scrutiny. Sarah Haynes added a touch of humor, suggesting they all needed coffee, but the levity didn't stick. Scarlett, now fully erupted, paced the stage, gesturing wildly as she expanded her rant to broader industry issues, from pay gaps to ageism, her words flowing like a torrent. She accused Joy of embodying the very gatekeeping that keeps progress stagnant, her face animated with emotion. Joy fired back, her cheeks reddening, defending her decades in comedy and journalism, claiming Scarlett was too sensitive for the spotlight. The back and forth was rapid fire, sentences overlapping in a verbal spar that had the audience on the edge of their seats. Cameras panned to capture reactions, audience members whispering, some filming on phones despite rules. Offstage, producers huddled, debating whether to cut the feed, but the live nature kept it rolling. Scarlett's eruption peaked when she slammed her hand on the table, the sound echoing, as she exclaimed that enough was enough with the personal jabs. Joy leaned back, arms crossed, smirking as she quipped about diva behavior, which drew mixed reactions, boos and laughs. Scarlett, undaunted, turned to the audience, addressing them directly, her voice passionate about empowerment and respect. This move shifted the dynamic, earning her roaring applause that drowned out Joy's retorts. Whoopi stepped in firmly, suggesting they move on, but the damage was done. The clash had become the show's defining moment. As tensions simmered, Scarlett sat back down reluctantly, her breathing heavy, the panel attempting to pivot to lighter topics, but the undercurrent of conflict lingered. Viewers at home tweeted furiously, the hashtag trending instantly, turning a routine appearance into viral gold. Scarlett's raw honesty resonated, humanizing her beyond the screen idol image, while Joy's unyielding style reinforced her as the show's provocateur. With the confrontation still simmering, Scarlett Johansson redirected her energy, using the platform to pivot from defense to offense, elaborating on her points with eloquence that commanded respect. She spoke at length about the intersection of fame and feminism, how women like her are expected to be perfect advocates while facing constant critique. Joy Behar, not one to back down, interjected with counterpoints, arguing that public figures invite scrutiny by choice. The debate evolved into a deeper discussion on accountability and activism, with Scarlett citing examples from her career where she'd used her influence for change, like her work with Planned Parenthood. The audience applauded sporadically, citing variably as the exchange unfolded. Sunny Hostin jumped in, supporting Scarlett's view on the disproportionate judgment women face, drawing parallels to her own legal background. Alyssa added nuance from her conservative perspective, suggesting balance in discourse. Sarah tried to mediate with empathy, acknowledging both sides' passions, but Joy pressed on, questioning Scarlett's environmental claims by bringing up private jet usage among celebrities, which Scarlett refuted by explaining her carbon offset efforts and sustainable choices. The back and forth grew more intellectual, less personal, but the heat remained, with Scarlett's voice rising in emphasis on key points. She gestured animatedly, her expressions vivid under the studio lights, captivating the room. Joy, with her trademark wit, tossed in sarcastic remarks that elicited laughs but also eye rolls from Scarlett. Whoopi, sensing the need for control, guided the conversation toward resolution, asking Scarlett about future projects to cool things down. Yet, Scarlett seized the moment to call for more constructive dialogues in media, her eruption transforming into a call to action. The panel nodded, even Joy conceding a point or two, though reluctantly. Audience members shouted encouragements, the energy palpable as the segment stretched longer than planned. Producers signaled wrap up, but the organic flow kept it going. Scarlett's poise amid the chaos shone, turning potential meltdown into empowerment. Joy, ever resilient, ended her volleys with a quip about agreeing to disagree, lightening the mood slightly. As the discussion wound down, Scarlett reflected on the importance of vulnerability, sharing a personal anecdote about facing criticism early in her career. This human touch softened the edges, earning sympathetic responses from the hosts. The clash, though heated, highlighted contrasting views on celebrity and society, leaving viewers with much to ponder. Commercials beckoned again, providing a breather, but the internet was already ablaze with clips and opinions. Post-break, the vibe on The View shifted subtly, with Scarlett Johansson composing herself, her eruption now a catalyst for deeper engagement. She delved into her acting methodology, sharing insights from her Marvel days to indie films, emphasizing growth through challenges. Joy Behar, perhaps sensing the need to dial back, asked follow-up questions with less edge, though her skepticism lingered. The conversation touched on mental health in Hollywood, Scarlett opening up about pressures and therapy's role, which resonated universally. Sunny praised her candor, sharing her own stories, fostering a moment of connection. Alyssa inquired about balancing career and family, Scarlett responding thoughtfully on motherhood's joys and juggles. Sarah added levity with relatable mom anecdotes, easing residual tension. Whoopi steered toward pop culture, discussing Scarlett's music ventures, where Joy complimented her voice but teased about branching out. Scarlett laughed genuinely, the ice thawing as they bonded over shared industry tales. Yet, underlying friction surfaced when Joy revisited earlier points, prompting Scarlett to firmly restate her boundaries. The audience remained engaged, applauding Scarlett's resilience. As time ticked, Scarlett promoted her film, her enthusiasm infectious, turning the segment positive. Joy extended an olive branch, admitting admiration for Scarlett's work, though with her signature sass. Scarlett accepted graciously, suggesting mutual respect despite differences. The panel wrapped with hugs and laughs, the clash becoming a memorable highlight. Off-air buzz filled the studio, crew whispering about the intensity. Scarlett's eruption, while explosive, showcased her strength, inspiring many. Social media exploded with support, debates raging on who won. Analysts later dissected the moment, praising its authenticity in scripted TV landscapes. Scarlett's team issued a statement post-show, emphasizing productive discourse. Joy, in interviews, defended her style as essential for real talk. The event boosted ratings, proving controversy sells. Reflecting, Scarlett viewed it as growth, vowing continued advocacy. The View's legacy of bold discussions endured, this episode etching into its history. In the aftermath of the heated exchange on The View, Scarlett Johansson's eruption became a talking point across media outlets, sparking discussions on celebrity interviews and host-guest dynamics. Clips circulated virally, amassing millions of views, with fans praising Scarlett's fiery defense and critics applauding Joy Behar's unflinching questions. Talk shows dissected the moment, psychologists weighing in on emotional triggers in public settings. Scarlett appeared on other platforms, reflecting calmly on the incident, emphasizing the need for respectful debates without personal attacks. Joy, in her memoir excerpts leaked later, described it as a clash of strong personalities, no hard feelings. The View's ratings soared, the episode replayed in highlights. Scarlett's career unaffected, her film release timed perfectly, garnering positive reviews amid the buzz. Advocacy groups lauded her for spotlighting issues, donations spiking. Joy faced backlash but also support for her boldness. Months later, they reconciled publicly at an event, sharing a laugh over the drama. The incident underscored media's role in society, prompting guidelines for interviews. Scarlett continued thriving, her eruption a testament to standing firm. Joy remained the show's spark, her clashes legendary. Ultimately, the event humanized both, reminding viewers of shared vulnerabilities behind the glamour.